time for another edition of Singles Only Podcast. My name is Paul Farahvar. I'm your host. On this episode, we have one of my favorite comedians and friends in the world, Kyle Scanlan. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast, like us, share, email me your own thoughts, pfarahvar@gmail.com. If you've got questions, concerns, check out my website, paulfcomedy.com, for upcoming dates. I'm doing shows all over Las Vegas, Nashville, Detroit, I don't know. It's all fluid. And then back in Florida again. Also, this podcast was nominated as the best podcast in the Reader. Please give us a vote. You don't have to be in Chicago. It's if you go to I created a site, bit.ly/Chicago singles. S is capital, C is capitalized. It'll probably be in the link somewhere. Vote for us. And I'm also nominated for Best Comedian in Chicago. You can vote for that as well. But let's get into it, you guys. After you've already checked out our sponsors, which will probably be here somewhere, come back in, because now we're going to talk to one of my favorite human beings, one of the most funny guys I know, also former champion of the Chicago Reader stand-up comedy category, which I'm nominated for this year, Kyle Scanlan.
Hey, Paul. How are you?
Where are you coming from there, buddy?
The bottom of the table. You told me to come on the video.
Oh, don't let them behind the floor.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. You could talk.
My back hurts. It's hard to
It's
sit
funny
like that for so long.
I feel like every time we've done a show together or we talk, you're always complaining about your back or you're grimacing in pain.
Well, that one show, I straight up threw my back out and was just laying on the ground.
I do remember that.
In between the comics, I was just laying on the ground. And then I went home and spent the weekend on the floor. It was very fun.
Do you just not believe in stretching when you work out?
No, dude, I stretch all the time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. I just my back's messed up in two different spots. And so I'm trying to get it fixed, but
yeah, my back's been messed up all my life too. But the reason when I work out, whatever I'm doing, it's like, do I have time to, if I'm going to play basketball or tennis or whatever, do I have time to do 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after of stretching? And is it worth it if all I'm going to do is work out for 20 minutes? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have to stretch for everything though.
Yeah. Well,
this sucks.
We'll get into our stretching routines for the podcast, exercising with Kyle and Paul. But right now we're doing the Singles Only podcast. Kyle Scanlan, this is a rarity. You are single. How is that possible?
I don't know, man. They're doing case studies, I guess, to see how it goes.
Well, this is why I say that. For as long as I've known you, we've been friends for I think 8 years now, probably longer. You've always been in a relationship. I don't think I've ever known you to be single for more than
a couple months, probably.
Yeah. No, yeah. Have you gone single for?
I've gone a couple months, yeah. I'm just more of a relationship man, Paul.
Yeah, you are. And I remember I got excited once when you had a breakup. I was like, oh, cool. I have I have a play date to go out with and to go out to the bars with. This is back when bars were open and I was a drinker.
Yeah, this is way back in the old world.
Well, also that was when I was drinking a lot. And then within a week you're like, I'll go with you, but I started dating this girl. I'm like, it hasn't even been a week, dude.
Well, listen, man. I have the opposite problem that you do.
What's that? You need to be in a relationship?
I don't need to, but I like it more.
What do you like about it?
I don't know. I mean, I like being in a relationship, especially if it's a good relationship. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of them most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really look back on any relationships and I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have never done that.
Right.
They all kind of serve a purpose, and I don't know, I like those people and get along with them all.
Were you in high school? Were you like that too? Did you always have a girlfriend?
Half of it, probably.
Okay.
I'd just say as I've gotten older, I've almost always had a girlfriend.
So the longest you've gone, you think, is 2 months without a girlfriend?
No, I didn't say that. Okay. It's definitely over 6 months.
When was that?
No, that's not true. That's not true. When I was 18, the first time I ever got my heart broken by a girl, I was single for 3 years after that.
What happened what happened? How did she break your heart? Were you dating her or you just had a
Yeah. We were that was who I I guess would it be high school or like right after high school? I don't know.
Well, I
But
don't know when you graduated high school. I'm assuming it was 18. No, I mean,
2012.
I don't know how old you were when you graduated high school. Like,
Oh, like 18
well, that's
probably?
what most people are, but I don't know. That's why I asked. I don't know when you
Is
did.
that a like are you a dumbass question?
Yeah, it was subtle. You were dumb. You were dumb.
I like that I didn't get it proving your question. Fucking dumbass.
2014.
God damn it.
Okay, so 18, you're graduating high school. Allegedly,
Yeah.
we don't know. And then
I did it. I graduated. It's not that hard. It's high school, man.
how many people were in your high school class?
Like 113 or something like that. 115.
115. The
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that you say 115 instead
I don't know why I said 113. I do that sometimes where I'm like, I try to like give a
169er. I just
it's not even a real number, Paul.
I know, but
That's
but
just a joke from Tommy Boy.
Oh, is it a Tommy Boy joke?
Yeah.
I just didn't understand why you just didn't say 115. But okay, let's.
I don't know. I didn't sleep very much and I had a ton of coffee, so
And your back hurts.
it's hard to tell where my brain's at.
So she broke your heart when you were 18. How did she break your heart, this woman?
I don't know. It's just the same thing that happens to all high school kids, you know, like where you're like, oh, it's just like you're just like, I don't know, like you just break up because you're like children.
Well, obviously your brain's not formed yet, but were you dating her for how long were you guys dating when she broke your heart, your first breakup?
Oh, I think it was like 2 or 3 years, something like
okay.
that. And I was like that, dude. It is funny now that you say that. I'm like, have I always been in relationships? Because I remember in like 7th grade, I started dating a girl that was in 8th grade. And then we stayed together when she was in high school and I was an 8th grader. We dated for like 2 years.
Oh, dear God. Okay.
I know. So I think maybe I have been almost
You're
always.
like in hindsight, yeah.
I'm trying to think about it and I'm like, damn, now I do think you're right.
Well, let's talk about this breakup because I feel like this could be important. So like you said, like all breakups, like I didn't have that. I had girls that I took to prom that hooked up with other people during prom and then broke my heart. Or girls that I had a crush on and went out with one date and then she met my best friend and went out with him instead for 2 years. Like that's what I picture as a heartbreak. What did she do? She just said, we're going.
Oh no, it was worse than that. I just think that there's a possibility she might listen to this, so I probably won't go into a lot of detail on that.
Do you still talk to her?
We'll run into her places sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're cool.
Back in your hometown?
Yeah. It's a small town, so I mean, you see everybody.
Okay. So she broke your heart, and then what happened?
I don't know. That makes it sound like this is what's hanging me up as like a 34-year-old man is like.
It might
in
be
high school. It's really not. It's fine. I don't know. I was just single for a while. I was mostly I was drinking a lot at the time, so I was pretty concentrated on that. Didn't have time for a relationship.
What about in college then? Were you in any relationships for over a year?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, how is that? See,
I started dating a girl that I dated for like almost my entire 20s, like in college. So I mean, it's like that was like.
What's the longest relationship you've had? How many years?
Like 6.5.
Dear God.
7, something like that.
What's the shortest relationship you've had? Like
a couple months. I usually try to give it a go, Paul. I usually try to give it a go.
Do you even? Have you ever been the person that's initiated a breakup, or are you always broken up with, or is there a pattern here?
It's like a little bit of both. Like I would say when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't break up with girls and I'd be like, oh, I just got to like figure a way to
I feel like you would be the one that would be like, I'm just going to keep trying. Like I can't see you giving up on a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is like my parents have like a very like healthy and like good relationship.
Yeah.
And it's like completely because they try every day.
Yeah.
And that was just like something that they like very much put into my head. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm going to try and give a shit most days. I mean, I'm not perfect every day or anything.
No, I know that. But yeah, your parents are cool. They come to your shows and support you. It's like unconditional love. What's that like? No. Well,
let's get your dad on here and I can explain it to him.
Oh, he won't do anything to support me. No, I'm just kidding. He's great. But like, do you look at your parents' relationship and are you like, okay, that's what I want to have. Like that's what you want to get married and have kids. Like that's your goal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I think I would like to get married and have kids. It's very hard to like make relationships work with what we do.
Yeah.
It's very hard because I think it's like I think people think it's cool for like a month or two, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so fun! Like I can take my friends to shows, blah blah blah." And then like 4 months in, they're like, "So you still do this every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, and then sometimes Monday too?" And then you're like, "Yeah, every week."
It is hard, and then it's hard. People exactly what you say. They're like, oh wow, it's so exciting. But then when you cancel plans because you get like a last minute spot for like they're like, wait, what are you're going to do 15 minutes and you're only getting paid $40, and you're like,
Oh, I mean, I've done
yeah,
it for even less than that. I've done
yeah,
it for guest spots that I was doing 8 and no
right,
money.
right. I mean,
So
we take every slot we get. I mean, that's the thing, and people don't understand that we need that stage time. Has
we do,
that
but I've found myself making a conscious decision to sometimes turn down those things now.
You were
If
doing that
I
before COVID though too.
Yeah, no. I mean like in the last couple years. I
Yeah.
think I think I've made more of a conscious decision to try and like because it is annoying for the other person. And
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's like you need to be supportive of what people do, but it's no different than like running like a small business or something. When shit comes up, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah. Like if you own like a mom and pop coffee shop and you have to go back to the office because something's going on, or not the office or the shop. I mean, it's their
Yeah, I
job.
mean, my dad's had to do that. I mean, dad's had like a trucking business his whole life, and
Yeah.
I mean, he does everything. He does the accounting, he does the wrenching, he
Right.
does the driving, he does all of it. So if something goes wrong, it's just like, well, and my mom was like always very supportive in that. So I
Yeah.
think like,
Did he
I
have
don't know. She always told me, she said there was just a day where I just knew like, hey, he has to go do his stuff, and I'm not going to bother him about it anymore.
did he have that business after they were married, or was it like he had that business?
No, that's all he's done since he was an adult.
But did your mom meet him when he had the business already, or
He was just like driving
gotcha? Okay.
because it was my grandpa's first.
Yeah, so it's like different than what you're doing because you're still, you know, you haven't made it yet. So if you're in a relationship,
No, Paul, I definitely have
whatever
not.
that means. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It seems less and less every year. Every year, I'm just more like, what if I just made a little bit of money?
Yeah.
What if?
God knows what's.
What if they didn't cancel every show for a year?
I'm still getting cancellations, but I mean, after like the third coming back, like, all right, we reschedule it. This one's going to happen for sure. And now it's like we're February. But
Oh, I know. It's like I don't know when when it's gonna be normal again.
yeah. Well, so you say it's hard, and we talked about it on the podcast before. What we do is impossible. But then on the flip side, you have dated comedians too, right? Or people
Yeah,
comedy adjacent.
yeah.
And what's the downside of that, or what's the pros? Obviously, the pros are they get the hustle, they get what we're doing, but then there's obviously the downside too.
I think the pros are like it's nice to be like, hey, I have an idea. Can I run this by you? Like, and
Oh, yeah,
someone actually understands what you're kind of like talking about. It's nice to have like honesty with like if you have a shitty set, if
yeah.
someone's like, well, that sucked.
They understand the
Um,
nuances of crowd work, and they're like,
yeah,
yeah,
and they don't get mad about like doing shows and stuff. Not to say that like other normal people do, but I mean, I think they get frustrated with it, which is pretty reasonable.
but then there's a downside, right? Because then you're in the workplace with the people that
Yeah,
you're
I mean, it's no different than dating someone that you work with at your office job, which I
which
also have done, and I
yeah,
don't know that that was a great idea either. Yeah,
there's a reason why companies have a no fucking in the office policy.
they're pretty strict on that no fucking in the office
Yeah.
policy. Yeah,
Well, not the physical aspect, but just dating, relationships, everything like that. But
no,
then
it's the fucking part.
yeah, well, that part too, the physicality is probably frowned upon, unless you own the business, in which case you can do
Do
whatever you
whatever.
want in the office. Shout out to Farahvar Law Group. Just kidding.
God, you're gonna get lawsuits for years. They're just gonna be against yourself.
No, but you you understand that, like, at least from my perspective, I would think like there's more downsides than positives, right? Or would you date another comedian again? I know you've done it in
I
the
think it
past.
would always depend on the person. I mean, I felt the same way about dating someone in my office, but at the time I was like, I like this person more than the repercussions for this.
You just don't think long term.
I mean, dude, I am a kind of a firm believer in like just doing what I think is the best for me, regardless of what the rules are, because
Okay.
usually rules are kind of arbitrary and meaningless. And I didn't really like. I mean, I wouldn't say that either one of those things had a huge negative impact on like
Your day to day.
on. Yeah, I mean, for the most part.
It's just uncomfortableness, if you're both on a show or something like that for a brief minute and then you get over it.
For a while, yeah. I mean, and really that part is like there's so much like seeing people in stand-up comedy and you just go, "Hey, what's up?" and then you don't even like
Yeah,
speak to them,
right.
that it's like it's not that horribly bad.
Yeah, except that it's not like it's like high school in a way. Well, not your high school because you had 113 or 115.
Why did I say that? So weird.
What's numbers like? Um, but you see, that's interesting that most people that have dated other comedians as comedians say they'll never do it again, and you're the Mac that you might do it again.
I wouldn't like seek it out.
Okay.
But if it was the right person and they were a comedian, I don't think it would hold me back.
What so are you dating, how are you dating again? Have you started the process during COVID or what, because you
I don't
were
know.
in a
I mean,
relationship?
I've tried at the apps a couple times
Yeah.
and I don't know, man. It sucks doing it right now because it's just like you make small talk with someone for like 2 or 3 days, and then you're both like, "Well, this is fucking boring." Like,
Did you do any of those virtual dates that people were
no,
doing?
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that.
I'm
No,
like,
I won't do virtual shows and I won't do virtual dates.
well,
I'm not doing that
I
shit.
did a virtual date once when COVID first started. It was so weird. Like I was like, this is dumb. Like, let's just talk on the phone. Like, I
Yeah,
don't need.
I don't mind talking on the phone. I wouldn't even be mad at like FaceTiming, but like
Yeah.
to get on Zoom and like pretend we're both at a restaurant, it feels like we're 5 years old. Like it just sucks. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah. What but so you were one of the casualty, your relationship was a casualty of COVID too, because we had Sarah
Yeah,
Perry on here. Um, do you think that it was something that because of COVID things got expedited quicker?
I
Like
think
you got,
so. I
yeah,
mean, we spent a lot more time together. Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't think that was like, I don't know. I think it's like something that like maybe would have taken a lot longer if COVID
yeah.
hadn't happened.
You would have had some more precious time together before the end.
Yeah, and I think you're like also like if you're spending every day with each other, you're like you can't. I mean,
Yeah,
your flaws are just out in the open.
yeah.
Like,
Have you learned anything about yourself from these relationships that you could the failed many failed relationships?
Jesus Christ, Paul. Is this how you talk to all your guests? Many failed. They're
Your
not. They're not all
failures.
failure. Like they're not all failures
I
if you
know.
don't like get married. I mean, even that ends up as a failure half the time.
I know, but your goal is to you go into these relationships. I give you credit because you go into the relationship fully open and like you're like this is gonna go. You have every intention of it going
Yeah.
somewhere. Whereas I go
My
into every
my therapist used to make me like stop and be like, "All right, say a bad thing about this person." And I'd be like,
yeah,
"I just can't. I don't have a bad thing to say."
yeah. You're
And
like a
he's like,
puppy in a
"Fucking stop it. Just say a bad thing about them. Say something you don't like."
yeah. It's really funny that like I have noticed that about you. You're like you're all in like from the beginning.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Does
Yeah,
that
I'm trying to rein that back a little bit sometimes.
do you think that that causes has that been a cause of a breakup that you're so invested in the relationship and maybe they're not or maybe they have other shit that they prioritize or what do you think?
I mean, I think that's happened probably before, but not like usually
Okay.
isn't the case. Like it's usually like I don't know. I would say that that's been nice about like this part of. I was thinking about this yesterday because I was like texting with someone that I haven't like met or anything, and I was like, it's kind of nice to be able to text and like figure out more with someone, like more about their personality before you like go on a date with them. Cause I think
Yeah,
after you go on a date with them and you have like a connection, then it's like, all right, you kind of just immediately speed things up. You're like, okay, I'll see you again in like 4 or 5
right.
days or like 6 or 7 days or something like that. Like,
Well,
I,
yeah, I agree. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's just like, I think it's kind of nice because in that way you can kind of like, not like weed out people, but like, I mean, kind of like,
You get the answers quicker. Like to me, it's
yeah,
like you don't make a connection with someone, and then 3 days later you find out that they don't believe in the Holocaust, and you're like, okay, I got to walk
yeah.
away from this. Because
That being said, can we chill a little bit with putting our like big issue items on our dating profiles? Like,
you do you not see? I'm of the opposite. I like to have them put. I always tell if I see a woman that they're going on Hinge and they ask me for advice because I'm a date coach, as you know, and
Jesus, why?
no, but I say put it all out there because why why waste your time or theirs, especially in your case, Kyle? Like, why if base basketball is a big deal to you, as
I
you
love
can
that that's
tell,
my hot button issue.
it is. What if they're like, is that some? What if, you should put it out there? What if they fucking don't know anything about basketball? Would you still date
Like,
them?
yeah, I mean, I've dated girls that don't know anything about basketball.
Well,
They
that's
usually
probably
come
why you're.
around. They usually become basketball fans.
But you're like a. I think that needs to be something that is stress or political things or whatever your hot button issue is.
Yeah.
Why not have it out there? You just said don't put it out there. Why? Why not?
I I just like on a like I'm okay with it if you're like speaking, I guess, and then you're like, all right, how do you feel about these things?
Hmm.
But just like looking at someone's profile, like on Hinge, they're like, we need to be on the same page about, and then it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it's funny because politics is usually a big issue here, and in Florida, it's like the opposite. There's a lot of people on the right side, whereas in Chicago, people are on the left side. But it's definitely more tribalism now than there was back in my day. My parents have been together for 50 some years, and they're on the opposite political spectrum, and they've made it work. They were happy for 12 of those years.
really,
Yeah, I mean, it's different, it's different. It's different than now because I think obviously now with Trump and stuff like that, he polarizes people.
yeah.
But
We were just like, I did not grow up in a house where we like talked about politics out loud. Like I remember in first grade we did a fake election at school. Like it was like when Clinton was gonna be president.
yeah.
So we did a fake election at school. And then I like went home and I like asked my dad, I was like, who did you vote for? And he goes, none of your business. I was a first grader. He was just withholding information from me. He said, none of your business.
I can picture your dad doing that. That's
Yeah,
pretty
dude.
cool.
He's wild. I love him.
I do. I like your dad a lot. He's fucking amazing. Okay, so what are the things that you okay, so on the apps, like what are the things that make you that are deal breakers for you? Because you said obviously if someone says LeBron James is overrated, you would still go out with them.
I would put him in their place, but I would still, go out with him.
Like what are the deal breakers? Obviously, you don't. I mean, you're of the guy that you're not going to be like sports is not going to
I mean, I was hanging out at like my parents' house a lot, so
in the
any
suburbs
like
or not the suburbs in
no, not
downstate.
suburbs, like
Downstate,
in the country, yeah.
yeah, 12 people.
And so yeah, I would say any like well, I might get some grief for this, but anybody that was like back the blue on their like dating
Oh,
profile, which was the
sure.
thing down there, I was like big old fucking
Yeah.
left on that.
Okay.
And any cops listening, it's not you, it's the other guys.
Well, we have a cop right here. This is
Where?
we brought here as our date. No, I'm just. I mean, I. That's funny that that's your issue. That's I see. Like I used to represent cops for a living, so I get
Well,
it. Okay, so that's a hot button issue for
I guess that kind of stuff, and they would put like Trump shit in there too, and
Right.
that would be a big no for me. Because I mean, that's just like a Republican area,
Well,
and
that's why I'm here in Florida. Like if I went on those sites for a bit, and they're just everyone is conservative, and then I'm just like still or like because look, I'm not super left, and I've got family members who are right
no,
wing.
you're like a little centrist bitch.
I'm a centrist bitch,
You are.
but but That's pretty funny. What bothers me is like if you still like I like people that are like I'm a Republican but not now or whatever, because it's like
Yeah.
okay, they draw the line, they're smart, and I mean, because a lot of people fell for, I mean, well, whatever, we're not going to make this a political thing, but there are things that it's good to have that information out there on the
Yeah.
dating apps,
What I'm
whereas
saying is I backtrack everything that I said before, and I kind of agree with you now.
it's good to do that because then you know, like 3 dates down, you don't have to be like, like, because then you reevaluate everything that that person said when you
Yeah.
find out that they don't.
I think it just feels aggressive whenever you're like swiping and you're like, you
Yeah.
see it like 4 things in a row. It's something I would never put on there, but I would also never have like a sincere dating profile.
Right. Oh, you wouldn't? Why not?
No. It feels stupid.
Yeah.
Like the answer these questions like very
Oh,
sincerely.
God, some of them are so stupid. Some of the questions I'm like, why don't you get like comedians to write the questions for you guys, Hinge? Like,
Yeah, so they can turn them in 8 weeks late and then bitch about them on social media.
Good point.
Saying they didn't get paid.
Way to fucking ruin my sponsorship opportunity.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't hire comedians to do anything.
I went and watched the football games this weekend with a friend of mine who was in town, and we saw these girls swiping left and right, and they're very religious. They're super Christian. You wouldn't, by looking at them, you wouldn't think that religion was
They
their
got like a
thing.
dress like down to their shins.
No, they look like
Pentecostal.
No, they were non-denominational Christians from like some urban area up East Coast, but they're here in Florida. But they were talking about how the Christianity is the driving force. They need to have someone that accepts Christ. I'm like, well, I think you could find people that are like that. They're like, well, are they living the Christian life? I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for everybody.
But on their apps, they put some of it in there. I'm like, I told them, I'm like, put that shit out there, like up top. If that's going to be a driving force for you, like you need to let people know that that's important to you.
Yeah, I will say that is a big left for me too, is
Christianity, religion.
Yeah. It was like, I love God and I'm gonna make love to him in front of you. Like that kind of shit. I'm just like,
yeah,
no,
organized religion kind of scares me, any of them, but I'm kind
of. I just wasn't even into, at least like a kid, even I was like, I don't think this is for me.
Did you're like, Dad, do you believe in God? He's like, none of your business.
I mean, I don't know. I grew up in kind of a religious house, but like my mom grew up in a much more religious house.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't allowed to go to like dances or watch the TV show Cheers because it took place in a bar. Yeah, she's from like a super religious family.
Was she in the movie Footloose?
Yeah. I mean, kind of. Dude, one time Ross Kelly, friend of the pod. He was like at my hometown and we're driving by this horse barn and there's 3 horses there. And he's like, there are 2 more horses than I thought there would be in this town. I miss him.
He just did the podcast a couple last month. It was really funny. Okay, so we know what your swipes lefts are. What are the things that typically make you interested in a person? Like obviously, if they have a picture of them watching basketball, I think you probably fucking nut your pants. You're probably like,
yeah, I mean, I would say funny is like my top priority. From like since I've always dated, I feel like every girl I've dated is like pretty fucking funny. Some of them are funnier than me. Yeah,
I would say all of them are funnier than you.
I would definitely not say all of them. I would say some of them. Yeah,
I can name 4 that are funnier than you. Okay, so
I'm trying to think of which 4.
I'm just fucking with you.
I know.
What about have you dated a basketball player, like someone that actually played in college or before?
No.
Not
really.
I think that would be perfect for you. Like you would be like, they're not comedians, so for me, it would get the Paul approval that you're not in the same thing. She could probably beat you at basketball if she played Division One. Come on. I
got elbows in the post, man.
I dated a girl who played basketball at DePaul and when I was younger, and yeah, I mean it's something you could possibly.
No, they could probably beat my ass. Yeah, if you played college basketball, you could probably beat me pretty easily.
Especially now. I mean, maybe when you were in your prime, but
well, I haven't even played since COVID started.
Oh, I thought you still are playing.
No, we haven't. Since COVID started, we haven't played.
Come to Florida. They don't believe in it.
I don't. I'll wait till I get a vaccine probably before I do it.
What okay, so what are the things that attract you? I mean, you can tell they're kind of funny by their responses, but what else?
I feel like it's kind of easy to tell who's funny by their responses. Like
Yeah.
that's a big one. I'm kind of all over on like I don't have like a specific type of girl that I
Yeah.
like. Like I'm like all over the place.
Physicality wise, yeah.
Yeah. But definitely attractive. I mean, I would say that's that's important, you know. But
Okay.
I would like to let you know that I still am shallow, even though I've dated a lot of
Of
different.
course. So you're a ginger. What about
Yeah.
other gingers? Do you find them attractive?
No, that's
See, that's
usually a big
funny.
no for me because my sister says the same thing. Because
Yeah, she's a redhead.
yeah, I mean, one time we were out to eat and we were at like Longman and Eagle, and the waitress was like, "Are you guys dating?" And we look. She looks like me with long, like if this long hair, if this beard was just long hair.
No, she's attractive. She looks like she's a very attractive woman. Don't say that about
It's
your sister.
insane that like the waitress was like, "Are you guys dating?" And we were like, "No, we're brother and sister." And then she's like, "I'm so sorry." And then she brought us like 4 shots to apologize.
She was trying to get you guys drunk so you would start dating. What?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
How about now?
Yeah, is she still your sister now? Couple more rail tequila shots for you guys. Let's see how it's going.
Too much incest porn. What's yeah, like I think that's funny because I don't date other Persians. I typically am not attracted to other people that look like me, like Middle Eastern.
Is that racist?
No, because I'm the race. I think it's fine. I don't know.
Wait, what are you? Is there any other races you wouldn't date? Let's start a new show called "What Races Wouldn't You Date?"
I didn't say I wouldn't date them. I just typically am not attracted physically to someone, and that's why I asked about the ginger thing because I am attracted to redheads, and it's weird because my brother is too.
Felt
yeah
when you gave me a hug before.
Well, I like looking at you and a much more attractive comedian, Maddie Ryan, who's also a redhead. And wow, you just let that go without
unreal.
No, because I like that because my nephew is a redhead, and I always worried about him when he grows up. And I said that with Daryl Schmitz came on the podcast too. And I'm like, okay, you guys are all good-looking redheads, so I'm like,
oh, but being a redheaded kid fucking sucks, Paul.
That's what I heard.
It sucks, dude. I was like, so my name's Kyle, but my real first name's William, and I never gone by William before. So I was a very tall, very skinny kid with the wrong first name who was like, actually it's William. Then I had red hair, and then people would just like call me Opie and shit all the time. And I was like, I didn't even like understand the reference.
So how did you get girls then? How did you have a girlfriend for 6.5 years in high school?
Get funny.
Okay, so
I mean, I wasn't like ugly, but I was just like, it was just like being a redheaded kid. You're just like, people will just pick on you. It is what it is.
But like do you think you had to make up for your Opie looks, I guess, by being funny in high school to get girls?
I think so. I mean, I was just like, I think I just liked being funny though too.
Yeah.
Like I was very like kind of the opposite of what I am now. I was like very loud and very like.
You're still loud.
In your face. Shut the fuck.
Are you did you guys have homecoming at your school? 113? Like, does everyone make the court? How does that
No,
work?
I was the king.
Were you really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you were a popular kid. That's probably why you got girls. Wasn't looks.
I did okay. It was okay.
All right, so we got off topic here. So you were okay. So we know what your swipe rights are. I think you need to date like a basketball player.
I think a musician would be nice. You always say that.
I do say that.
I think a musician would be good.
That's a big part of your life too. You love concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
What's your perfect first date if you match with someone, and let's just say post COVID?
I mean, I really like to keep things pretty low stakes, just in case it's coffee, like you get there. Yeah, I mean, coffee, like a drink, like whatever. I just don't think, as much as people ghost each other anymore, I'm not like, let's go spend $80 on a meal. Like,
right. Well,
I know
also
that's
time.
cheap and shitty, but it's like, stop ghosting people all the time.
Yeah, well, it's also like a time issue too. Like for me, it's not so much, you know, going to
Oh yeah,
dinner or something.
I don't know a day of the week that I could go out.
Yeah, like I would just be like, I only have so many hours
Mhm.
before a show or whatever. I'm not gonna spend them like miserable. You know, like
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and all that stuff like puts you in the, I don't know. I mean, I care probably. I think I used to really overthink first dates because it was
yeah.
like I kind of just I didn't date a lot in my 20s like at all. So I just had no idea. I thought every date was like a big date. And then so I think I was pretty relieved to find out that people are cool with like drinks or coffee or something.
Well, you were also dating the same person for all your 20s, probably too.
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
So
Almost
bizarre.
all of it.
Yeah, I don't know. What about just like taking a break?
You pause there, Paul.
Oh, can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. What'd you say?
What about just taking a break from like what does your therapist say about you not going all in? You talked about it earlier before. It's like, what about just like living in the moment in a relationship and not being like, oh, I could see this going
I mean, I think
somewhere.
I have adjusted a little more to that. I mean, that's kind of what we've talked about. And like, yeah, I think I've adjusted a little more to that and been a little more not an idiot about stuff, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
saying like go out and have like 6 one-night stands, but like you could
No.
just be in a relationship for 2 or 3 months and like both of you agree, hey, this is probably not going anywhere, but
Yeah.
I had fun, you'll have fun and move on.
You know what? This is gonna make me sound like I'm in my mid-30s and very corny, but I'm just gonna say it. There's always like a national lyric that I like very much like thought kind of nailed it for me, which was like I have only two emotions, careful fear or dead devotion. And it was like that. I always feel like that was kind of like where I fell with dating. And I was always trying to find the middle ground. I thought that would be more helpful.
Say it again so I can let it resonate for
I
folks.
have only two emotions, careful fear or dead devotion.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And I know it's like a song and cheesy, but it's like, I feel like that's like a big part of like dating that to be better at it, I have to find the middle ground more.
Yeah, there's a lot of ground between dead devotion and fearing who you're
Well, I
around.
mean, it's just a song. It's like
I
a
understand,
silly
but
exaggeration of what I'm saying, but
it's an exaggeration, but that I think that really is you. Like I know you enough to know,
I mean, I don't disagree.
yeah, you need to find like a middle, like careful devotion.
Yeah, I need to find some girl that's a 5. Right in the middle.
Yeah, like someone that I'm trying to think if I know. I think you should just go to like those gyms where like women work out, play basketball leagues, and then just hang out afterwards and be like,
No.
"Hey, nice point guard
No.
work there."
That's how you get the cops called on you. Just hang out where
I'm not
girls are
saying,
playing
I'm
basketball.
not saying, I'm saying adults, like women in their 30s.
Yeah, I just
No,
started taking
it's
Instagram
not.
videos of them like
No, I mean you'll be like, you could tell a lot. Well, let me ask you this: by if the way that they play basketball, you could tell a lot about how they are as a person. You know, if they're selfless or if they're like ball hogs like LeBron James, you know, simple things like
he's a ball hog?
I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to
Razzle me?
I would say Kobe, but you can't say that now.
No, you should not say that.
But can't you do that? Can't you just go and watch a game and be like, this
I
is
mean,
my
where? There's no games, right? No one's doing anything. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember Chicago, but it's just like your chance of meeting someone right now. You could meet someone at a grocery store where you could see this much of their face.
yeah. Well, you could do like Fahim Anwar. I did shows with him in Arizona. He has a great joke where he liked in Florida or I mean LA dating during quarantine was awesome because it was so cheap. You're like, hey, we could go to the park, feed the
Yeah.
ducks. Like
I don't
it's
want to
like
be lame, but I tweeted something that was like, "There's never been a more affordable time to be a boyfriend."
it's
And
true.
then I still fucked that up, but you know.
Well, what about going on like if you meet someone, you could still do that. I mean, there's stuff to
Going to
do.
meet someone?
Yeah, like if you met them online and you're like, we should go meet in person, things are kind of starting to open up in Chicago, I heard, or they will be.
I mean, if they open up a little bit, I mean, I'm down for like walks and stuff like that. a little man in my life that I got to take for walks 3 or 4 times a day. So
He's talking about his dog, just in case people want to call DCFS.
yeah, that'd be so
Yeah,
funny.
I
I
love
wanted to
him.
be I wanted to I wanted to really leave it up there because I wanted people to not know if it was a dog or a small child.
Like I should go check up on him right now. It's been half an hour.
He's been quiet for a half hour, and that usually means that he's up to something.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think you could do that kind of stuff. And I think the good thing about dates like that now is like if you go to an outdoor area during COVID, or even if you go indoor for a second, you can be like, after a while, you have an out because you can be like, well, I don't feel comfortable staying here for much longer. That's like you're out if the relationship sucks or the date sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would are you one of those people that like just gets up in the middle of dates if it's bad?
I can't do it. I'm not good at it. And we talked
I've
about
never
on the
done it either.
podcast where the lady on the other side, we were both eager to go, and she just goes, "Are we done here?" And I was like, I wish that was the name of the app, because
That was a redheaded girl that said that to you?
no, she was a Russian and she had an accent.
Are we done here?
Are we done? Are we done here? And I was like, yeah. Oh my god, can I use that? Because it's like that's the perfect way. Because when Joe Quazala did that, so it's like as comedians, we're never like we want them to be happy. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what did I do wrong?
There's something wrong with our brains where we want everyone to like us.
Yeah, we want them to like us, but I can never get out of the situation unless they say something like completely offensive.
I literally don't think I've ever like walked out of a date.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I think if they were having fun and I wasn't, I probably would be stuck there for like 5 hours. I would just be like, yeah, let's get dessert again. Like I would
See, I don't know, because I also doubt that as a comic. Like I doubt that, because I think if you're with someone and they're having fun, even if you're not, like you can like have fun in that they're having fun.
Well, what if they were just talking the whole time and you're just like, uh-huh.
Oh, that's not fun at all. I
No,
would
but
very much want to leave, and I wouldn't know how to do it.
that's what I'm saying. Like I've been in those situations where I'm like, oh my god, how do I get out of this? And
Fake a phone call? I feel like that's what they do in movies, though. You can't do that.
You can't do that, and you can't do that now. Like during COVID, you couldn't do anything either because you can't be like, well, where do you have to go? Everything.
Yeah.
You don't have a
Oh,
show.
I got to go home. I got to watch something on Hulu.
The best was the way I liked it before was I would always go on dates at like 5 or something if I had a show at like 7 or 5:30 or whatever, and I'm like, well, I have to leave. And if it was like in Rosemont or whatever, I'd be like, oh, traffic, I got to leave for traffic, because then you have an out because you have
But what if it's going good? See, I don't like that, because then what if it's going good?
If it's going good, I'd be like, let's hang out after my show or whatever.
I feel like
I never had that. What's that like?
You never had a day go good?
No, just kidding.
Do you go on like a lot of dates?
I do. Yeah, I do. I go on a lot of dates, and then I always have a good. Generally, by the time I've gone on the date, my experience is that they're all good because I've done so much vetting and talking up front that I've removed any possibility of something shitty happening, because I've talked to them. I know they're cool. I know that even if they're not attractive or don't look like their picture, or there's no physical connection in person, I'm like, I still like this person. I'll still like. I've had relationships that have ended in professional business, like relationships. I have other lawyer friends now that I met on the apps that I refer business to, and I get money from. Or I had a PR girl help me with stuff when I started Drink Day Laugh.
Yeah.
I met her on the app, and then she was in PR.
Are you like on Bumble BFF or something?
No, I don't have that.
Have you ever heard people say that they're like they go on the apps to meet friends?
Yeah, I see that every once in a while, and I'll just be
That's
like, "Is
pretty
that code?"
weird.
Yeah.
I thought it was like something else, but I guess it's just people trying to meet friends.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes I think it is where they're trying to get a third for their threesome shit.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah. They want a little red in their life, a little ginger.
I don't think I want to get in the middle of anyone's love life right now. No, thank you. I have a feeling like we're gonna see like a ton of people like get married or break up, and I don't think that's a wild prediction, but I think this is a year of spending all your time with the same person is like enough to push you in one direction.
I think even 9 months in a relationship during COVID constitutes. If you make this, you can make anything.
Yeah, I think so.
Most of them are breakups, though, I would say.
Yeah, or it's like people hanging on because they're like, I don't want to finish this out by myself.
Or I have a sublease that doesn't end until January with this guy.
Yeah.
I got to make the best of it, which we had as well on the podcast. But yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
I think the good thing about COVID, good or bad, is it's going to end a lot of relationships. So we're already going to end. A lot of divorces are already starting. So
I bet. You better jump back in the lawyer game, man.
if you do need a lawyer for your divorce stuff, give me a call. I got someone for you. Whoever's listening.
Are you just doing referrals now for divorces?
For everything, yeah. So
damn, you've figured out how to be a middleman in a middleman business.
It's a good middleman business, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I'm in Florida on the beach, so it's pretty nice.
Cool. I'm in Chicago and it's snowing outside.
This is the beach right there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a beach.
Can't.
There's water and people walking and acting like there's nothing going on.
Why wouldn't you make that your Zoom background?
Because the sun.
Why am I looking at this white curtain?
Oh, here, you can see it's too bright.
Oh, it's too bright.
Sunny.
Yeah. I got like sunburnt off of that. Just you opening those blinds, I'm like, I got to put sunscreen on now.
So what do we learn here, Kyle? You have to go to find a girl who plays basketball.
Yeah, I got to go to the courts and creep on girls until one of them gives me their number.
Why can't you play in like
because COVID, Paul.
No, when it's done, go in those leagues where they're the two sexes. What is that called?
Sex. Co-ed.
No. Co-ed. God, I couldn't think of my fucking.
What are they called? Whatever. There's two sexes.
All the sexes, you should say.
All the sexes. Yeah.
Co-ed. You can go in one of those leagues, find a girl who plays basketball, and then fall in love.
I don't know. I set a lot of screens when I play basketball. I don't want to be screening girls. That feels like a bad way to meet a girl.
How well done there. Play on words.
Yeah.
Kyle, we're out of time. Where can people find you?
At Kyle Scanlan on Instagram, Twitter. I still have Facebook for some reason. Yeah. When's this episode come out?
I think Sunday. Coming up. So.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You have a podcast coming up in the future.
Yeah. But I mean, it's something we've been thinking about for a while. Right. So
not me and you and somebody else.
Yeah, me and your father.
Me and you already have enough projects together.
We've got plenty of projects
last a
together.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Kyle, thanks for finally doing the podcast. I've been trying to get you on this podcast for.
I know, hard to get guests, man. Hard to get guests.
You were single. Like there was a period of time where you were single. I think like 2 years ago, and like literally within a week, you're like, I can't do the podcast. I'm like, how is this fucking possible? You can't go.
I got a lot of good qualities, Paul.
I don't know.
A lot of people who are out there looking for good qualities.
Right.
And I know you can't see it here, but I'm tall also.
He is tall. He's a handsome fella. All right, Kyle. Everyone else, thanks for listening to another edition of Singles Only Podcast. Please check out our sponsors. Please check out Kyle Scanlan's page when he has his new website or his new podcast.
My new website. I don't think I've updated my website since like 2013. Do you think that's important for comedy?
Whiskey Journal Live.
Yeah, it probably does. It probably says Speakeasy Comedy on it.
These are all inside jokes where no one.
Yeah, these are really land.
Bye, everybody. By now, you know that I'm a lawyer, right? Everyone does. And I don't really practice anymore, although I still have a license. But when I need a lawyer, and I do often need a lawyer, I contact my friend Scott Shapiro. If you're injured on the job or need compensation, you're entitled to payment for more than you know. A lot of times, companies will try to settle with you so you don't get a lawyer because they don't want you to know all the monies you're entitled to. Scott Shapiro has been helping injured workers for over 20 years. In addition, his firm handles multiple other cases, including personal injury cases and entertainment law issues. He has handled a lot of my entertainment stuff as well as those of guests on the show and listeners. So you need a lawyer,
sure, you can consult me. But if you want a free consultation from the best, don't take any chances. Contact my friend, Scott Shapiro. His number, 312-648-8800, or check out his website, scottshapirolegal.com. There are other Scott Shapiros. Make sure you call the right one, 312-648-8800 or scottshapirolegal.com. Tell him I sent you, and he will be very happy.